Welcome everyone to the Corsace Closed Grand Finals. We are here with a ridiculously hard map pool to match up with the ridiculously good players that are left up in the pool at 3 UTC. About an hour from now, we will see Flying Tuna from the winner's bracket face off against Utami in the loser's bracket. But before we get there, we have a show match to make sure that all of this grand finals pool gets played. There are quite a lot of custom-made maps for this pool, and we want to be able to showcase all of them here, including Ball Sniffer. My name is Dio, and I'm going to be casting this showcase between Tekkito and our mystery player who has yet to show themselves in either Discord or on the stream. We're going to be finding somebody shortly for it. But just to go over exactly what's going to be happening, we will likely be running through most of the maps that have not been played so far. No Mod 3, No Mod 5, Hard Rock 2, Hard Rock 3, DT2, 3, and 4, and No Mod 1 getting ran down in this pool, along with the Tiebreaker, actually. Those maps not getting played in yesterday's matchup between Utami and I'm a Fancy Lad, aka Stevie Blunder. And it looks like we may be... It looks like hopefully Mathi will be joining the lobby. He's currently in chat. Let's see if we can get a high-ranking player, a top player, any top player into this lobby to face off against Tekkito. It's a totally not rigged, totally serious show match here on the 8-star pool. I'll take a minute to talk about the maps that are getting played. We have No Mod 1 Keel Hulled. It is a fairly interesting No Mod 1. Honestly, quite fast at 220 BPM. 8.34 stars on the aim consistency map. There aren't really a lot of tricky patterns in this map. It's mostly just the aim Keel Hauled by Ailstorm. A very, very fun map overall. Fun song to listen to. We saw No Mod 2 yesterday, Mjolnir, the Freedom Dive BPM No Mod 2. We're also looking at getting a couple of others played. No Mod 3, the tech map, Exariath by Ferriquidus. That map with basically 360 BPM jumps in it. The streams in that map are spaced out enough and tricky enough that they basically function as jumps in that map, which is a terrifying concept. In addition, No Mod 5, the 270 BPM Lara speed map by Zelk and Devious Panda. That one with some very long 270 BPM bursts and finger control in the speed pick in No Mod. It is a real test of the ability to tap consistently at that sort of a BPM. Moving into the hidden pool, we did see all 4 of the hidden maps yesterday, actually, between Utami and Fancy Lad. No surprises there. Both of them famously good at the hidden in general. One of the maps that we do have in the Hard Rock pool is Goodbye Mr. Jack. It is a custom map in that Hard Rock pool, a precision map just like the current ranked set that is ever so popular in tournaments. This one taking the same sorts of linear patterns, finger control, and awkward aim to another level. Eagle Seeker by Silent Room versus Frums is the other map in the Hard Rock pool that was yet to be played. 234 BPM, and it is focused on that tapping in Hard Rock, so it does present a very serious challenge to the raw speed, the finger control, and the ability to perform on those. An 8-star level in Hard Rock. Most of the double time pool being left up yesterday between DT 2, 3, and 4. Ball Sniffer, Playing with Fire, and Scream Out, those 3 maps that were left up. Ball Sniffer, the 285 BPM high speed pick in the double time pool. Playing with Fire, the 243 BPM, I believe, stamina pick. AR 10.43 on that one as well, and then Scream Out, the 248 BPM density aim pick in double time. And then finally, of course, the tiebreaker, Astral Tail Denable by Noah. That one, 8.25 stars, 268 BPM, the classic sort of alt map between things like Condemnation Wings, between things like Ginsdom, and between things like the ever so famous Jonathan LFJ map, whose technical name I am forgetting at the moment. And it looks like we do actually have both players in the lobby right now between Tekkito and Mathi. And it is going to be Tekkito versus Mathi here for the show match. It's going to be totally not rigged, where we totally don't tell the players exactly what they're picking so that we get every map in the pool played. And yes, it is Azure Arbitrator was the map that I was thinking of. A pretty good sort of map that is in line with those types of snapping-focused alt picks that happen to make their way into tournaments quite a lot. And it looks like we're going to be starting off with Hard Rock 3 as a first pick for Tekkito. This is a totally unexpected pick coming out of Tekkito right now. We're looking at Hard Rock 3 getting picked up. That is the, I believe, Goodbye Mr. Jack, if I'm not mistaken. Hard Rock 3 is actually going to be Eggle Seeker by Silent Room versus Frums. So this is going to be the 234 BPM Hard Rock pick. Mathi's starting it out, Tekkito starting it out fast, where we have already 234 BPM Hard Rock map getting picked up between these two. And just a reminder, we are going to be avoiding the maps that have already been played in the Losers Bracket Grand Finals yesterday between Utami and I'm a Fancy Lad. We are going to be looking specifically to pick up as many of the unplayed maps so far. Hard Rock 3 definitely included in that bunch. The maps that we did see yesterday included Nomad 2, Nomad 4, Nomad 6, the entire Hidden Pool, Hard Rock 1 and 4, along with Double Time 1. So all of the other maps in the pool are going to be what we're trying to play in this map, in this match, alongside the tiebreaker. Trying to make sure that everything gets played, especially all of the custom maps that were made specifically for this pool. Hard Rock 3 being one of them, mapped by Captain 1 for this pool at Realize Eggle Seeker. This map is going to be definitely death for Mathi, who has not had a chance to warm up. He's going into this completely cold, and at 234 BPM, it's going to be very punishing for that Tekkito. Probably at least a little bit warmed up. Don't let the graphic fool you. That is not Flying Tuna versus Utami. This is Tekkito versus Mathi in the show match. We will be getting to Flying Tuna versus Utami at about 3 UTC, 45 minutes from now. So stick around after the show match, and we will get to the grand finals for the tournament right afterwards. And well, if Mathi wasn't warm before this, he'll probably be warm afterwards. Thrown right to the dogs at the start of the map, where you get bunches of 234 BPM bursts right in a row, and it just does not let up. The transitions between bursts bring an element of finger control as well. As you see, Tekkito, even with the warm-up, struggling on the accuracy on this map quite a bit. The stream aim presenting a challenge as well. All of these are relatively spaced out, and you don't get a break. Transition into a more slider-focused section in the middle of the map. players able to hit the 1/3 fairly well. Those are actually some of the simpler patterns in this map, believe it or not. But we get more and more into some of the finger control intensive sections in the middle, and the flow aim just does not let up on this as well. It may be 234 BPM, but that doesn't mean they're going to go easy on you with the stream aim in this. A lot of cut doubles, a lot of very highly spaced 1/3, and streams that are almost spaced out at 234 BPM on Hard Rock make this just about 8 stars in difficulty. I believe that star rating is actually swapped with Hard Rock 2. On the spreadsheet, Hard Rock 2 is 7.87 stars, and this one is 8.05 stars, so I believe those two values are swapped in the metadata because everything else is correct for this one. This should actually be just a little bit over 8 stars. And you can definitely see why. Everything from the speed to the flow aim required to the jumps in this map all are just ridiculously difficult. And like we said at the start, if Mathi wasn't warm at the start of this one, he's probably warm enough now after being thrown to the wolves right at the start of this match. And just a reminder, as per the title, the Grand Finals itself between Flying Tuna and Utami will be happening at 3 UTC. That's about 42 minutes from now. This is currently a show match on the Grand Finals pool between Tekkito and Mathi. We are trying to showcase as many maps as possible that have not been played yet this weekend. Much of this pool is custom made, and we want to make sure that as many of those as possible get played, so we are totally not rigging a show match between these two players to look at as many maps as possible during the weekend. And the next map that's totally not a rigged pick is going to be Sniffer by Synthamesk. This one is the 285 BPM speed pick in DT. AR 10.07 and at 285 BPM, that is still going to be relatively combo dense. Also, I cannot believe that the map card for this isn't Ed with the Corsace Manscaped Ball Shaver. Waiting on Mathi and warm up his hands a little bit. Be able to properly play the map at least going into 285 BPM. Unlucky for Mathi not having time to get a proper warm up in before something like this. We are ready to get into all Sniffer though. You can see the finger control in this map also relatively difficult. You have even numbered bursts and odd numbered bursts being juxtaposed with each other, as well as quite a lot of consecutive triples and quints sort of all over the place. And at 285 BPM, putting those together with 7 and 9 note bursts all throughout the map means a ridiculous stamina and speed drain on pretty much any player looking to go head to head with anyone else on this map. You get a sort of breakcore song like this at 190 BPM, it does lend itself very well to this sort of high-speed double-time mapping. And you can see the result, just sort of completely destroying the fingers of both Tekkito and Mathi. And while Mathi isn't warmed up, he's still one of the better speed players in the world at the moment. Tekkito, the same can be said, specifically in a tournament environment, one of the best tournament speed players there is. Up to 300 BPM is usually the limit for within tournament play, and this is well within that. So having somebody like Tekkito struggling this heavily on a speed pick just shows exactly how difficult this is, and almost 8 stars. Even star rating speaks to how difficult this map is, whereas a lot of times you really can't rely on that metric. As a reminder, Corsace Closed actually serves as largely a way to help fund the Corsace Open. This tournament is a far less high-stakes version and a 1v1 version at that of Corsace Closed. It is also not fully custom mapped like the Corsace Open is. If you do want to see higher stakes in the 4 vs 4 fully custom mapped Corsace Open, you should consider donating to the prize pool for that tournament. For Corsace Closed, however, I know the winner gets to be featured in Sidetrack Day 2. They get their sample in that song, so still stuff on the line for these players at the end of the day. But during this map, it really is the fingers on the line for both of them. Still with all of the consecutive bursts right in a row, all the way to the end of the map, and 285 BPM. This is just a little bit ridiculous of a speed strain for the vast majority of players. Now after DT2, we are waiting on the next pick from Tekkito. Yeah, he's won on a couple of speed maps so far, but might end up changing that up anyway. I honestly kind of feel like a lot of the maps in this pool are fairly fast as well. Even Nomad 1 could be a relatively fast pick, and there we go. He's going to go with Nomad 1 as the next pick here. We're going to be playing Q-Hold as the next map in the pool. 3 minutes and 40 seconds, and the highest star rating in the pool. Actually, second highest star rating behind Hard Rock 1. 8.34 stars, 220 BPM, AR 9.8 on the aim consistency map in Nomad. This map is actually surprisingly simple, given the fact that it's a Mazrin map. There is much less going on in something like this than there is in basically any other map in the pool. It really does come down to just the aim consistency, and for Mathi, who has been thrown into this without much of a warm-up, I think it'll be a welcome reprieve from the very tapping-intensive maps that we have seen so far. And obviously having this type of background is apparently a requirement for some of the Corsace mappers. You expect those and have had them actually well throughout Corsace Closed, and specifically in Corsace Open, a lot more focused on the feet rather than anything else. This map far more just focused on the jumps than anything else. There are a few of those space streams that make their way into this map, and a lot of the jump in this is a little bit awkward rather than completely comfortable.
Truth most dire. There lurks a traitor in our midst who hath invoked the captain's ire. Don't deserve no mercy. We ought to shoot him with a gun, but I am not an evil man. So first let's have a little fun. We'll tie that scoundrel to a rope and throw him overboard. Drag him underneath the ship, a terrifying, deadly trip. You haul that filthy landlubber, send him down to the depths below. Make that bastard walk the plank with a bottle of...
And you can see the raw aim required to hit a lot of this is frankly a little ridiculous. That combo from Mathi was kind of a pop-off. Does finally drop it in the first TI, but that level of consistency is what's going to be needed to put together any sort of sizable score on this map, and at well over 8 stars, being consistent on that type of aim is very, very difficult.
I will not say what he has done. His sins are far too great to tell. It's not my face to judge a man, but for them he will burn in hell. The sharks will dine upon his flesh, and Davy Jones will have his soul. Take his money and his hat, he won't need them where he's gonna go. First, let's tie him to a rope and throw him overboard. Drag him underneath the ship, a terrifying, deadly trip.
I'm really liking the, I hope we get to listen to this in the grand finals. This song is just very, very fun. People don't map enough Ailstorm anymore. There used to be quite a lot of Ailstorm mapped in us back in the day, but not necessarily anymore. Nice to see a little bit more of it here. One of the more interesting parts of this is that there are quite a lot of slider jumps, especially in the key eyes. A lot of those sliders corresponding to the held vocals within the song. So being able to transition from pure jump aim into lots of jumps involving sliders is one of the skills required for this map, on top of the pretty difficult flow aim needed for 220 BPM space stream within the key eyes at the same time. So it is mostly that aim consistency that you're going to need to put together a sizable combo, but if you want it to be big, to be actually a truly large combo and have a very good score on this map, you're going to need more than just that raw aim consistency on Nomad 1. $313K from Mathi is kind of massive on that, just to reiterate. I mean, the miscount isn't necessarily super impressive just looking at it, but that combo and the ability to keep consistent on a lot of the space streams in this map is very underrated. That was a pretty good play, especially for not being warmed up whatsoever. And we are going to get the next pick from Mathi, and if you do well on an aim map like that in Nomad 1, you may want to pick into something else that is relatively aim-heavy. I think there are a couple of maps left up in the pool here that are relatively aim-heavy. Even outside of Goodbye Mr. Jack, there are still multiple different, not only DC, but Nomad maps left that can fit that bill. And I'm expecting one of them to probably come out here as the next pick. It's actually going to be Double Time 4. Okay, so it's a slightly different pick from what I was expecting. But another map that we have not seen get played so far, Scream Out by A1 featuring Aki. The map 248 BPM, AR8 in the Double Time pool, the lowest approach rate in DT. Looks like we're waiting on the actual map to get changed here before we actually start up. We are still on Keelhauled at the moment, but there we go. On to Scream Out now. both players should be just about ready to go at 248 BPM. This one is going to be a fast one. I'm interested to see exactly what this map has in store for the players. I believe it's a combination of quite a lot of fairly long streams at 248, a little bit of finger control, a lot of aim at that AR8 as well. All right, and looks like we are just about ready to go. Let's see if Mathi can take this one. Tekkito has been doing fairly well on the speed in comparison at the moment. But after all of these maps, Mathi probably a little bit more warmed up than before. The accuracy definitely still suffering on something like this. And at 248 BPM, a lot of these longer bursts, shorter streams are going to be very stamina draining for sure. Both players really struggling to put together a coherent combo, largely because of the swaps between the doubles and finger control into the longer bursts and short streams in this map being incredibly stamina draining for basically anyone trying to play this. These streams just do not let up either, keep coming at you one after the other. But Mathi, now after a warm-up, is looking a lot better on these speed picks, is able to pull himself together here after a couple of early speed maps plus Nomad 1. We do have a pretty good combo right now for Tekkito, though, and it looks like he's going to be taking the lead over Mathi now. Going back into those jumps plus doubles, but does slider break, over aims the head of a slider underneath one of those doubles, and Mathi now right back in the lead with score once again. Both players dropping multiple misses on some of the doubles into the longer streams. It's about a 12k lead for Mathi at this point. 3% up in accuracy as well. So much for no warm-up. He's looking pretty much ready to go. A lot of these longer streams definitely giving him some trouble on this map, but is able to pull together quite a lot of score compared to Tekkito. Not far behind, about 15k up for Mathi at the moment. That accuracy is playing a big part, and it's still about 3% up in accuracy, and climbing actually, as Tekkito drops a few more misses here. We're getting more into the doubles and burst combos that we hear in a lot of the KIs. And Mathi continues to pull ahead, holding on to the combo and accuracy lead. Actually slightly behind in combo, but it does not matter. Mathi with his second win of the match, tying it up 2-2 after Nomad 1 and DT4. Nicely done. 200k on that is definitely not bad, by the way. We are still looking at somebody who has played 4 maps in total, putting up 200k on that map. And it is going to be really tough to replicate something like that in a match. It is quite a difficult finger control and speed stamina challenge for a map like that. It's quite frankly a combination of the raw speed, the finger control, and the aim control all at once in a map like that. So having mastery over all 3 of those skills at that BPM is very, very difficult to deal with. And now we're waiting on the next pick to come out here. It's going to be Nomad 5 from Tekkito. This is the next speed map that's left up, and we're very quickly running out of speed maps that are left in this pool that have not been played yet. It's going to be Nomad 5 and then Double Time 3 would be the last speed map after this, but this one is 70 BPM, and you can hear in this sort of breakcore rhythm game song. So much potential for burst, finger control, and buzz sliders throughout this map as well. With Zelk and Devious Panda mapping it, you know there's going to be a lot of all of those. These machine gun streams are going to present quite a challenge for the stamina and speed of any player. Let's see how Mathi and Tekkito can deal with it. We're going into Nomad 5. This is a faster map than what we saw in Double Time 4, by the way. This is over 20 BPM higher than Double Time 4. So this is going to present an even more significant challenge in terms of the raw BPM. Not quite as high as the 285 BPM of Double Time 2. But these streams and bursts are going to be longer. These machine gun streams are absolutely brutal. There are very few players who can actually combo through a stream of that length at 270 BPM, 16 plus notes at 270 is absolutely ridiculous. It definitely belongs in an 8-star plus pool like this. Both players just about neck and neck. Accuracy down below 80% for both of them. It's within a couple hundred points. As it now basically just comes down to the combo for both players. And Mathi is the one who's able to hold on to the combo. Look at this, actually almost a 300 combo by the time he finds a break, and that earns him 25k score. It doesn't sound like a lot, but Tekkito's overall score is 70k. Mathi just now breaking 100k on this one, and that shows after Double Time 4 just how hard this map is. Both players up around 200k on the previous speed pick, and only just now at 130k for Mathi, 75k right now for Tekkito. Yeah, these are over 20 note 270 BPM streams, by the way, at the end of the map. There are basically a handful of players who can do that type of stuff in the world. This map is completely cracked out. We do see Mathi hit a lot of those ending streams. By the way, 12 misses. So despite that accuracy, able to combo through the map relatively competently. Only 12 misses on a map like this is absolutely insane. It's almost double score as well. Showing some serious dominance on the speed for Mathi after a quick warm-up. Just a reminder for everybody watching, we are getting through as many of the unplayed maps as possible in this match. This is a show match to show off as many unplayed maps in the grand final pool as possible before we get to the main event at 3 UTC. That's happening in about 21 minutes, so stay tuned. After this match, we're going to get Flying Tuna from the winner's bracket facing off against Dutami from the loser's bracket in the grand final to decide the winner of Corsace Closed. Nomad 3 hasn't been picked so far, so apparently it's off limits anyway. So I guess we'll be picking something else. I was gonna comment on that map. That's actually one of the unplayed maps so far, but we'll likely go into something else instead. We do still have Hard Rock 2 left up, as well as Double Time 3. And the tiebreaker in this pool. sounds like we are gonna get No Mod 3 anyway. Axeriu by Ferrequidus. And this is the part of the map where we get those 360 BPM jumps coming in hot. And they're technically 180 BPM streams, but they play basically like jumps. The spacing on them is so high and so variable that it just becomes almost like an alt map at 180 BPM. And I hope the players are prepared for some absolutely ridiculous aim control here. I'll break on one of the earlier cut streams for Tekkito. Probably not going to matter all that much to break on one of the other ones for Mathi as well. Actually goes the wrong way on the slider, but it doesn't matter. He hits the follow point anyway, so it doesn't end up mattering. That was kind of funny. And here is where we get the 360 BPM jumps. These stream shapes are just a little bit out of this world. The back and forths, the overlaps in this just make it so difficult to read, and you add the aim strain of super high spacing back and forth streams at 180 BPM, and you get a map like this where both players are just finding misses all over the place. It is still a bit higher score than what we saw on No Mod 5, but we're likely not going to see these scores go up too much. Tekkito somehow amassing 100 combo during the hard part of the map. Here in the first PI. Yeah, this... how is he comboing? What? He's comboing? He hits those! He hits those! Okay! Alright, he finally drops the combo, but that aim control was a little bit ridiculous from Tekkito. Not sure what was happening there, but he was popping off. That was some ridiculous aim control. I'm not sure how you hit those streams during the Ki time. But Tekkito, 2 separate high combos during the Ki. Get into another one of those TI times with the ridiculous stream aim. Now Mathi a little bit more prepared for all of the back and forth and overlap aim in these streams. Both players breaking on the same sorts of stacks into the next back and forth, pretty much all over the Ki. In this one, you don't get a super high score on this map. You just don't. This type of stream aim is not something that you find in basically any type of map besides lower BPM alt maps. So to find this type of stream aim at 180 is pretty much impossible, even in solo play, and it's what makes this map so difficult to combo through, because the type of stream aim that it tests is basically not used in anything else. I mean, the back and forth and jump aim in these streams is absolutely ridiculous. Tekkito coming out on top with a 180k in this map. I am ready to see Flying Tuna play that. I don't know about you all, but I am so ready to see Flying Tuna pick this map and absolutely demolish it. This is absolutely a tuna map for the next matchup. I am so excited to see what happens on this one. We are tied up 3-3 here in our totally not rigged show match. We're looking at a few more maps to get picked up so far. All of the no mods have been played so far. All of the hiddens have been played. We are looking at Hard Rock 2 and double time 3 plus the tiebreaker to get played within the 15 minutes that we have before the grand finals. Just another reminder, about 15 minutes from now at 3 UTC, we will be having the grand finals between Flying Tuna from the winner's bracket and Utami from the loser's bracket. Utami will have to bracket reset Flying Tuna in order to win, so you'll have to win 2 separate best of 13s in order to win the title of Corsace Closed champion. Flying Tuna only has to win 1 best of 13 against Utami, either the first set or the bracket reset, in order to be crowned the champion. But in this show match, we are getting into Double Time 3, Playing with Fire by Corsace, the Sota Fujimori remix, the Pyrotechnics difficulty. This is a cut stream tech map, but with double time on. There's not really much else to say besides that. They are 10.43 as well, so you are getting not only a pretty ridiculous flow aim and cut stream control test in this map, but you are also getting a high approach rate reading test at the same time. I believe it is AR 9.2 with double time for this map. The finger control at the start of this map is looking pretty ridiculous for Mathi to deal with here. Tekkito somehow getting 250 combo at the intro, comboing all the way up until this double spam section. Looking very, very confident on this map. I think far above expectations. This is a little bit ridiculous. Yeah, he's just comboing again. Tekkito doing Tekkito things on tech maps. It's just like that sometimes. Yeah, and while this is a speed map, it is still only 243 BPM and is not super fast. And the fact that it's basically a tech map with double time on means that players who are generally good at that type of finger control and aim control are going to do well on this sort of map. Tekkito putting that on full display right now after a win on No Mod 3. Definitely does require a lot of speed to be good at something like this. Definitely does require high approach rate reading to be good at this map, but it is not strictly speaking a speed map. It's more so a finger control map than a test of raw speed. Both players having definitely a lot of trouble holding onto the combo consistently, holding onto the act consistently as well, down below 88% for both players, 87 for Mathi, just under 87 on the 86% for Tekkito. And under 300 combo for both players throughout the entire map at this point. Neither of them has breached 300 combo at any point. Tekkito is trying to get there right now, but continues to find misses just beforehand, oftentimes on those double jumps. Getting into the last section of the map, the last quarter coming through now. It's still ever so slight advantage in the accuracy department for Mathi, but the continual combos from Tekkito that have all been relatively high, almost 300 on multiple occasions, have granted him about a 30,000 score lead, up about 25% of Mathi's score at the moment, so nicely done from him. He is going to be taking at this point and putting himself up 4-3 in our Totally Not Rigged show match. And we are on to the last pick now. The last unplayed map in the regular pool is Hard Rock 2. We are finally going to be seeing Goodbye, Mr. Jack, the CS 7.15 precision test in the Hard Rock pool. Or at least we should before we get to the tiebreaker. Usually you play tiebreaker after the score is tied up and not beforehand. So I'm assuming we're going to be getting Goodbye Mr. Jack as the next pick. And there we go. We are finishing it off with Hard Rock 2. This is not the ranked version, by the way. This is a custom map made specifically for Corsace Closed. We're going to be going into this one and then right into probably the tiebreaker before we swap over to the first bout of the Grand Final. Absolutely fantastic song. Looks like everybody should be just about ready to go. We're into the last map in the regular pool. I'm hoping to see Mathi just absolutely pop off on this. It would be such a shame if we didn't see tiebreaker after the match came this close, 4-3. The last pick for Mathi left up in our 9-map pool. It would be such a shame if Tekkito performed well on this. We need Mathi to pop off and Tekkito to int a little bit in order to guarantee that tiebreaker gets played. Alright, good luck, have funs are out. Both players are just about ready to go. We're finally into Hard Rock 2 as the last map of the show match. The absolute banger song. Super tiny circles here. CS 1.7.15, excuse me. CS 1.5 is no mod 6 in this pool. Already see the wide angle jumps in this presenting such a challenge on the raw aim to these players. The streams and triples are honestly not that bad in this, and the finger control is pretty minimal, just some doubles here and there, and at 178 BPM, or 180 BPM, excuse me, it really doesn't present all that much of a challenge in comparison to the extremely tough jump aim. At CS 7.15, even reading circles that small tends to start becoming a challenge for a lot of players on AR10. At only 180 BPM, the object density in this map is not that high. There's so little going on that actually reading this small of a circle is quite difficult on a Hard Rock for a lot of players. And that's why a lot of maps, just like this one, do tend to be fairly heavy on the bursts and streams when you start getting above about CS 7. you can still see just how ridiculously hard it is to deal with some of this awkward aim for Tekkito. He is having actually quite a lot of trouble with this sort of map. I believe he also changed his keybinds to H and L, so he's playing with index pinky on this map, rather than with index ring or index middle, as is normal for most players. Still putting up 70k here. But Mathi definitely having a better time with normal keybinds on this map, and putting up a fairly respectable score. Having consistent aim on something like this is just not a thing for most players, and unless you've practiced a map like this, or unless you play very high circle size hard rock maps a lot in solo, you're not going to be consistent at something like this. You can see even a lot of this stream aim near the end now catching the players off, as you just don't deal with accelerating, decelerating streams on CS 7.15 all that often in solo play. It's just not a thing. People don't map CS 5.5 all that much for regular maps. It's usually CS 5 at a maximum. And we are now tied up 4-4. The show match has gone all the way. Somehow we've made it here to the tiebreaker. Tied 4-4 for both of these players. We're going to be going into the last map of the match. I believe we will actually play the tiebreaker before grand final starts here. It is going to be Denebold Astral Tail by Noah. This map is, once again, sort of a spiritual successor to maps like Gensdarm, to maps like the Azure Arbitrator, to maps like Condemnation Wings, that is just a very much harder version of those sorts of maps. And we are going to tiebreaker, just waiting on both of the players to ready up so that we can finish off with the show match and head into the actual grand finals. Once again, the actual grand finals is happening right after this tiebreaker. We're going to get Flying Tuna versus Utami started, their first bout of the grand finals. Flying Tuna coming from the winner's bracket, Utami coming from the loser's bracket after a 7-2 victory over I Am a Fancy Lad in the loser's bracket grand finals for Utami. It's going to be hidden for Tekkito on this map as well. Not wanting to deal with AR-10 without hidden, likely, for him. You have not only the snap aim at almost 270 BPM, but you also have a couple of bursts here and there in this map that make it that much more difficult to be consistent on. Not only do you have to have the aim for these 270 BPM squares and bursts, but you also need to know when you're bursting 270 or when you're bursting around 220 on the 1/3. Mathi finding a miss on some of the triples held after the sliders there. Tekkito holding on to combo with hidden is actually kind of goated. This is a ridiculous combo coming out from him. 95, 96% accuracy, as well as Mathi finds a couple more misses on some of these jumps. Both players hitting that accelerating 1/3 stream into the spinner. But Tekkito holding on to big combo right now, almost approaching 600 combo. And while this map is fairly long, it's almost 6 minutes long, this is a pretty big score lead as a percentage of Mathi's score. Tekkito up already 50k. Wow, alright, and Tekkito is just going, hitting those cut triple streams into another accelerating, decelerating third stream, and he is just popping off, actually. This is a ridiculous score, looking to just demolish the score coming out of Mathi, and more than double score right now, coming up on 1,000 combo for Tekkito with Hidden on this map. Finally finds a slider break, it looks like misaimed a slider head. Never mind, that was Bancho. He's still holding on to combo, and he is now passing the 1k combo mark with over 96% accuracy. Does finally drop a miss on one of these jumps, but after hitting that 1k combo mark, ridiculous score coming out of Tekkito here. Already over 200k on this map, and with Hidden to boot, just demolishing the tiebreaker. And at this point, Tekkito is so far ahead of Mathi in terms of score. It's going to take a miracle for Mathi to stage a comeback here at tiebreaker. It's looking like a sealed up victory for Tekkito. Still almost double score at this point. Not quite, but Mathi unable to hold on through the space stream into those single taps afterwards. Tekkito does hold through that first spaced 1/3 stream into the single taps underneath, but is unable to do so through the second. It's still, however, double score for Tekkito, 290k to 145k as of right now, and looking to hold on to combo, does do so through that 270 burst. So many swaps between 1/4 and 1/3 in this map that keeping track of which ones are 270 and which ones are about 220 is a task in and of itself. But Tekkito seemingly having not much trouble with it at all. Over 300k on this pick already, just popping off and showing what the score to beat is here for either Flying Tuna or Utami if we do see that matchup go to tiebreaker. Hits the jumps but misses on the space 1/3 afterwards for Tekkito. Both players hitting that space 1/3 stream. And we are basically at the end of the map here. It's not quite double score on the tiebreaker for Tekkito, but it is more than enough into the Corsace slider at the end of the map. Nicely done from Tekkito on 333k. Thanks to Mathi for coming in for the show match at the very last second. And without any further ado, we are going to take a 3-minute break before we get into the grand finals. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We are going to be right back in about 3 minutes with the grand finals, the matchup you've all been waiting for between Flying Tuna and Utami.